Why do you feel the need to tell everyone what you're doing with your life? Think about it. What are you really looking for when you speak about your plans, your goals, your struggles? Validation? Encouragement? Maybe just the comfort of being heard. But in the silence that follows, there's a truth that stings. Most people don't actually care. And worse, some hope you don't make it. Every time you speak your next move into the world, a piece of that energy slips away. You hand over fragments of your power. You give people access to something sacred before it's ready to stand on its own. There's a reason your mind feels scattered, a reason your motivation comes and goes, a reason you feel like you're working hard but not really getting anywhere. It's because too much of your focus is being spent on explaining yourself instead of building yourself. Every time you say what you're going to do, your brain gets a reward. It feels like progress, even though nothing has changed. That false sense of movement is dangerous. It robs you of the hunger to actually move. Words become a substitute for action. Promises replace proof. And dreams start dying in your mouth before they ever get the chance to live in the world. You owe it to yourself to protect your vision. Not everyone deserves to hear what you're building. Not everyone will understand it, and they're not supposed to. This path is yours, and every time you open your mouth to announce your next step, you invite doubt, distraction, and interference. You start living through the eyes of others, adjusting your pace to their reactions, forgetting why you started in the first place. But when you keep your mouth shut and your head down, something powerful happens. You stop chasing attention and start chasing results. You stop performing and start producing. You stop needing validation and start feeling purpose. The greatest strength is often silent. It doesn't scream. It doesn't explain. It doesn't argue or try to convince. It simply moves forward, calmly, relentlessly, until there's no denying it. And that kind of power lives inside you, right now. You just need to stop scattering it through words. Stop throwing your energy into conversations that lead nowhere. Stop waiting for people to understand you, believe in you, or applaud your decisions. They don't need to. What you're building isn't for them. It's for you. And it's time to protect it. Stay until the end, because this message isn't just a wake-up call. It's a reminder of what you've always known deep down, that your life changes the moment you stop explaining yourself and start executing. That silence isn't weakness, it's focus. And the more you protect your focus, the faster you rise. Stay with me. Because the moment you stop telling everyone what happens in your life is the moment everything starts to change. You don't owe anyone an explanation for the fire that burns inside you. That drive, that hunger, that vision, it was given to you, not to them. And every time you speak on it, before it's ready, you dilute it. You leak the energy you were meant to keep. Most people talk about change. They talk about goals. They talk about discipline. But what they really do is delay. Every word becomes a shield to avoid action. Every conversation becomes an excuse to stay comfortable. They feel productive because they talked about the thing, but deep down, they know nothing real happened. Your future doesn't come from what you say. It comes from what you do. And the more you share your goals with others, the more permission you unconsciously seek to pursue them. You begin to care about how your journey looks instead of how it feels. You worry about optics, about being liked, about impressing. But none of that builds anything real. You don't need to convince anyone of your potential. Let your results speak when it's time. Right now, your job is to protect the flame. Starve your distractions. Starve your need for applause. And feed your discipline. Talking is easy. It's safe. But it does nothing for your growth. Growth lives in quiet places. In the sweat, the struggle, the moments when no one is watching. That's where confidence is born. That's where transformation happens. You won't find power in the opinions of others. You find it in keeping promises to yourself. You find it in those silent, unseen moments when you push forward, even when no one claps. You stop needing noise. You become your own fuel, and that is when you start becoming unstoppable. It's not that you should never speak. It's that you should speak only when speaking doesn't steal your strength. Share when your results are undeniable. Share when your progress is visible. Until then, keep building. Keep your circle small. Let your silence make people wonder. Let your discipline confuse them. There's something magnetic about someone who moves with quiet intensity, who doesn't explain, doesn't announce, doesn't beg to be seen. They just work. And when they show up, they come with results no one can argue with. You don't need more plans. You need more movement. You don't need more opinions. You need more execution. And the fastest way to move forward is to stop leaking energy through words that lead nowhere. Let others chase attention. You chase mastery. Let others crave validation. You crave growth. This is about taking your power back, one quiet, focused day at a time. Protect your vision like it's your life, because it is. The moment you stop talking and start doing, you become the one no one saw coming. Quiet now. Build now. Rise quietly and let them hear you when you can't be ignored. Most people aren't rooting for you. They're watching you. Not out of support, but out of curiosity. Some want to see you win, but many quietly hope you fall. Not because they hate you, but because your growth threatens their comfort. Your ambition forces them to confront their own laziness, and that makes your journey dangerous to their ego. When you constantly reveal your moves, you open the door for their opinions, their projections, their insecurities. You hand them the blueprint to criticize, to judge, to inject doubt into something that was never meant for them to understand. You can't grow freely when you're constantly defending your path to people who have never walked it. You need to realize that silence is not just protection, it's elevation. When no one knows what you're doing, they can't distract you. They can't drain you. They can't interfere with the energy it takes to rise. You create a space for clarity, a space where there's no pressure to impress, no need to perform, just raw, focused progress. That's how the strongest foundations are built, not under the spotlight, but in the dark. When you're too busy becoming, you don't have time to explain. And when you finally emerge, people won't believe how far you've come, because they were never meant to see the steps, only the outcome. You have to stop giving pieces of your dream to people who can't carry it. Stop expecting support from those who've never supported themselves. Stop looking for approval in places that never respected your potential. You don't need their nod. You need your grind. You don't need their opinion. You need your own conviction. And the second you stop seeking reassurance from the outside world, you unlock something dangerous: self-trust. That's the difference between those who start and those who finish. One needs to be told they're good enough. The other knows they are and proves it in silence. Every time you stay quiet, you sharpen your focus. Every time you hold back from announcing your plans, you strengthen your resolve. You are no longer available for cheap conversations, for surface-level validation, for energy that leads nowhere. You are here to build. You are here to rise. And no one needs to see the work until the results speak so loudly they can't ignore them. That is the discipline that separates the average from the extraordinary. The weak announce. The strong prepare. The weak need to be seen. The strong wait until there's no denying what they've become. The average, this time the victim, you have something powerful growing inside you. But it can't breathe in environments filled with noise, doubt, and distraction. Protect it, nurture it, keep it sacred. The fewer people who know, the stronger it becomes. This is not about being secretive. It's about being serious. And when you're serious, you don't need to talk. You just work, and you rise, quietly, powerfully, unstoppably. The most powerful move you can make is to stay quiet and stay committed. No announcements, no explanations, just relentless, focused effort. Let the world wonder what you're doing. Let them assume you stopped. Let them doubt you. That silence becomes your fuel, because while they're busy talking, you're busy becoming. While they waste time reacting, you invest time building. Silence eliminates pressure. It removes the temptation to perform. It allows you to shift your attention inward, where real transformation begins. The ones who rise the highest are the ones who stop wasting energy trying to be seen and start pouring everything into becoming real. You don't owe the world a preview. You don't need to explain why you're choosing a different path. You don't need to defend your focus. Your only job is to execute. Every second you spend talking about what you're going to do is a second you steal from doing it. And most people never rise because they confuse expression with progress. They chase attention instead of mastery. They look for reactions instead of results. They talk about discipline, but they lack the silence to build it. Because discipline is quiet. Growth is silent. Success is invisible until it's undeniable. You must train yourself to love the shadows, to love the parts of your journey no one sees, no one applauds, no one understands. That's where real strength is forged. Not in the praise, but in the process. Not in being heard, but in being consistent. Your greatest power will always come from what you do when no one's watching. And when you keep your journey to yourself, you take full control. There's no outside noise, no opinions to filter, no expectations to carry, only you and the work, only you and the truth. Make silence your strategy. Let it refine you. Let it teach you to operate without applause, without updates, without external motivation. Because when you learn to move without needing to be seen, you become unstoppable. You don't need to announce that you're changing. You don't need to prove that you're evolving. Let them see the difference in how you walk, how you speak, how you handle pressure. Let your presence say everything your words used to try and explain. This isn't about hiding. It's about building without limits. It's about cutting away every distraction that slows you down. And the most dangerous distraction of all is needing to be noticed. You are not here to entertain. You are not here to convince. You are here to transform. And that begins the moment you stop telling people what happens in your life and start putting everything into what happens next. Silence is not the absence of power. It is the space where power grows. Stay quiet, stay grounded, stay hungry. And when the results finally speak, they won't need words. They'll be loud enough on their own. Your focus is sacred. Guard it like your life depends on it, because it does. Every distraction you allow, every unnecessary conversation you entertain, every detail you share with people who haven't earned your trust, it all pulls you away from where you're supposed to be. Energy leaks through attention. And the more you give away your thoughts, your plans, your ideas, the more you weaken the force that was meant to carry you forward. You're not here to be available to everyone. You're here to become someone not everyone can reach. That requires boundaries. That requires silence. That requires cutting access to your mind and protecting your inner world from noise. There's strength in not responding, power in not explaining, freedom in not needing to be understood. The moment you stop sharing your every move is the moment you begin moving with real purpose. You create space for discipline. You begin to hear your own voice louder than the opinions of others. You reclaim your attention, and with that attention comes clarity, and with clarity comes power. You start to feel that energy shift. You stop living through updates and start living through execution. You stop looking around and start looking within. That's where your momentum is born. In the quiet, disciplined decision to stay in your lane and master it. And every time you withhold your next move, you sharpen your edge. You teach your brain that rewards come from results, not reactions. You condition yourself to love the work, not the attention, to crave the process, not the praise. And this changes everything. You stop performing for the world and start performing for your future. You stop chasing temporary validation and start building permanent change. You become dangerous in the best way. Untouchable, unshaken, unbothered. Because now your motivation doesn't come from what they say. It comes from who you're becoming. Let them wonder, let them guess. While they seek approval, you seek volumes. While they seek approval, you seek growth. While they waste time explaining, you build in silence. Your silence is a statement. It says you're serious. It says you're focused. It says you're done playing small. When your attention returns to yourself, your life changes. You move with intention. You think with precision. You act with purpose. And every action compounds into momentum, into progress, into transformation. This is where breakthroughs happen, not through noise, but through focus. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to announce anything. You need to execute. You need to protect your vision like it's your oxygen. You need to understand that the quiet season is not a setback, it's a setup. It's the time where warriors are built, where futures are designed, where clarity becomes unstoppable motion. Stop talking, start building. Let the noise fade. Let your life speak. Because when you stay silent and focused long enough, your results won't need an introduction. Yes, your goals need you. They need your passion. They need your focus. Your vision, they need your vision. Your goals need you. 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 They'll speak so loudly, the world won't have a choice but to listen. If you want to rise, you must build in silence. Not because the world isn't listening, but because you're not building for the world. You're building for yourself. You're building to break limits, not to impress. You're building to grow into something greater than you were yesterday. And that process cannot survive in a space filled with noise, opinions, and constant exposure. Growth requires stillness. Elevation requires isolation, not physical, but mental. A place where distractions can't reach you, where other people's voices can't shake your direction, where the only sound that matters is your next step forward. Most people don't get far because they don't stay long enough in that space. They get uncomfortable. They feel unseen. So they seek comfort in conversation, connection, visibility. But every time they open their mouth, they interrupt their own process. They lose the momentum they spent days, weeks, months trying to build. Progress slips through their fingers, not because they lack talent, but because they can't stay quiet. Because they crave recognition more than they crave growth. And that desire to be seen becomes their ceiling. You are different. You don't need the world to know what you're doing. You need to know what you're doing. You need to be so deeply aligned with your purpose that even silence feels like movement, that even in solitude you feel progress, You begin to shift your internal rewards. No longer do you chase the dopamine hit of someone saying, "That's amazing." You chase the internal fire of knowing, "I'm becoming better." And that shift is everything. It turns you from a dreamer into a doer, from someone who talks about changing their life into someone who quietly, day by day, actually does it. The ones who become great aren't loud. They're consistent. They master their routines. They protect their energy. They understand that attention is a currency, and they spend it only where it counts. You need to become that intentional, that unshakable, that serious about who you let in and what you let out. Not everyone gets access to your process. Not everyone deserves to hear your ideas. If someone hasn't earned your trust, they don't get to witness your evolution. Keep your process sacred. Keep your energy close. Let the noise pass by like wind against a mountain. Irrelevant, weak, forgettable. This journey is not about being seen. It's about becoming undeniable. And you don't become undeniable by announcing every move. You become undeniable by refusing to quit, refusing to shrink, refusing to let anything distract you from the mission. When the work is real, the silence is easy. When the vision is clear, the noise is meaningless. Keep moving, keep building, keep protecting your focus like it's everything, because it is. The less you speak, the more powerful you become. Not because you're hiding, but because you're growing. And one day, your silence will become the loudest thing they've ever heard.